ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the Super7 Toho Ultimates Godzilla Thirsty for Blood variant. This lovely variant figure is based on the very first cover of Godzilla King of the Monsters, as published by Dark Horse Comics, and is based on the artwork of legendary comic book artist Arthur Adams. Speaking of which, let's take a look at this box, which features the cover art on a wraparound slipcase, and I gotta say, Super7 absolutely fucking cooked with this. This is an amazing box. This is a box that I would put on a floating shelf and hang on my wall just for the sake of look at how amazing it is.
And what makes this even better is that once you remove this very beautiful slipcase, very slowly, the theme of Blood Goji, which is my pet name for him, either that or the bloody Brussels sprout, continues on every side of the box. I love it. Super7 absolutely understood the assignment here and absolutely fucking killed it. But it gets better. Spin this baby around and shamo. If you don't think that looks cool, you have no taste. I'm sorry, go away. And what's even better is you get an explanation for why Godzilla is so thirsty for blood. After being hit with a poison dart, Godzilla is driven into a bloody rage and ravages the west coast of North America. Yeah, New Yorkers wouldn't deal with this type of shit. They would have glocked them easily. Worked for Godzilla in 1998. For months, teams from across the globe try and fail at subduing the monster. Issue number 1 of King of the Monsters, published by Dark Horse Comics in 1995.
I think I was 3 or 4 in 95.
Jesus. And here he is. This is what the figure is going to look like right out of the box, and let me tell you, right out of the box, I got that feeling deep in my stomach and heart area. It wasn't Ajita this time, it was, this is it. This is the feeling I was hoping for with the 89 and Roseform Biolante figures. Just so whimsically painted with so many different areas to look at and get a new experience with. If you weren't impressed with 89 Goji and Roseform Biolante, I think you'll feel a little bit more impressed here, because if this is the route Super7 could possibly take for their standard releases, yeah dude, I'm so very there, it's ridiculous. The detail is much easier to spot from an eye shot, and I don't know. I feel like a fully painted figure absolutely speaks to Super7's strong points here. I mean, just look at these dorsal fins. The detail, I mean, that stays the same. I love how the dorsal fins look, but with this green on green, dark green on mint green, I'm just such a sucker for it. Yeah, I do wish the dorsal fins on the tail received a little bit more love before they turned into lumps. But even then, this is absolutely 100% more visually appealing than the first. But anyway, it's time to take a closer look at why this guy is Blood Goji, or the bloody Brussels sprout. So the eyes are a little wonky, but I really do like the red on yellow on black going on here. It's more so just this eye over here that looks a little
befuddling.
This eye looks great though, but what looks even better is Godzilla's bloody fucking mouth. The glossiness of the blood, the redness of the blood mixing in with Godzilla's teeth. It actually looks like Godzilla has gums this time. The blood dripping down and out of Godzilla's nose over here. And look at the way you can actually see the teeth with a brighter red coating most of them and just a little bit of that bone yellow paint peeking out. It gets even better when you see that the blood is dripping down Godzilla's neck to be somewhat continued on his lower neck, which I do wish there was more blood there, but it's fine. Let's be honest, this is the neutral head. I'm neutrally disinterested. Let's just rip this guy's head off and give him the superior roaring head, which, oh fuck. Oh yeah, now you're speaking my language there, Super7. Love how the teeth look, love how the tongue looks, love even more how the blood is just rushing out of Godzilla's mouth and nose. Yes, that is a theme that is kept. Finally, I can sing my praises because this is awesome. The green on green colored skin with the glossy fucking red, this is just it, man. This is it. And look at how it just drools down Godzilla's throat and everything. Ugh. Personally, I think the blood drips on the underside of Godzilla's jaw over here mostly match up with this, but that's just me. The only downside to this head is These eyes are also a little bit wonky. The red kind of escaping the black over here. It's just a little misaligned. But now I am noticing the sheen on Godzilla's eyes and their placement is very much intentional, as they are the same on both heads. It's just that red ring that Super 7 needs to master. Then we'll be good. Paint and detailed, 2 solid friggin' stars. Yes, I like this thing that much. I brought back the rating system for this particular review, and it gets better. Not massively better, but the hype continues, I should say. Just like last time, we get some neutral hands, some balled up fists, and some jutsu-looking hands. All hands look exactly the same in terms of paint and detail. They differ solely for pose, as you've seen. Now, I'm probably never going to pose Godzilla with the fists, because this guy comes with one more accessory that just ties this up in a sweet little bow, and that's this guy, the Frightened Artist, which was apparently made with the likeness of Art Adams in mind. And as far as I'm concerned, mini Art Adams over here can be placed in both of the open hands, the jutsu hands and the neutral hands. The way his arm is just like angled over here, his arm really does fit on either of the fingers, and that pretty much just makes the balled up fist hands just a little useless to me. Not complaining of the inclusion, I appreciate it. I can't not pose this guy without mini Art Adams in his hands, I just can't. Would I call this worth the $85? The short answer to that question is yeah. This is a lot better than what we got with Wave 1. The longer answer, I guess, is a little bit more in between. Whoever weren't impressed with Wave 1 might not be impressed with this, or they might not be willing to spend money on this. That was the route I was taking, and then I saw a bunch of reviews on this guy. I'm like, oh, I am making a terrible fucking mistake. To cap that off, I definitely feel I got my money's worth here. Just like last time, ball joint in the head. Both heads on this guy are a tad loose, but nothing to the point where the head is going to go flying off. Can look down that far and then back up that far. Ball joint at the neck, so you can aid in Godzilla looking down pretty far, and then back up, not all that far. Full rotation. Arms can move. Alright, let's try that again. Arms can move up about this far. For whatever reason, this arm can move up a lot further than this one. Kinda solid, but I don't want to push it beyond that. We will get a full rotation over here at the shoulder. Kalima. Full rotation at the bicep over here. A slight bend out and a full bend in at the elbow, plus a swivel. At every wrist, you will be able to go down about that far, and then back up about that far, plus a swivel. Once again, you'll get a full swivel at the torso over here. Nope. No ab crunch. At the thighs over here, you will be able to move the legs out about, that far. I'm comfortable with that. And then back in. These legs definitely feel a lot less stiff than Wave 1 did, so that's nice. Now, if you remember my Wave 1 review, you remember that I can only really get the legs about that high, and it turns out you can go a little higher, but if you go past this point, well, leg will pop off. The leg can also kick back about that far until it pops off, so there is no full rotation at the legs. But honestly, just getting that, more than enough for me. We will get a nice little bend out at the knee over here, and then a decent bend in. There will be a swivel at the knee over here. We will also get a toe bend down, a lot like that, and then we'll get a toe bend up, a lot like that, as well as a rather nice pivot. Look at that. God damn. But what about the tail? I have seen more than a few videos of people being able to actually curl the tail a bit more, but mine still kind of sags. But at the end of the day, I'm able to do a little bit more with this tail than I was on the Wave 1. It's just, the droop. But yeah, it's on a ball joint over here. You get a little bit more movement in this area than you did on the Wave 1 version. Well, at least I do. And I feel like they're getting there with these tails. I really do. I will say this tail feels a little more successful when it comes to getting that curve, and hopefully Super 7 can work on this until it's a fine, good curler. It's not too much better than the original, but it's still better. So articulation, I'll settle with articulation at a half a star. That's more so towards a full star and not an X. Honestly, if I have any notes for Super 7 in terms of articulation, it's just keep working on the tail and maybe a little bit more movement up and down at the head and neck. But that's just me adding a little bit of seasoning to that. Overall, I really like this thing, but we'll hear more of that after size comps. Toho Ultimates 89 Goji, Toho Ultimates
Roseform Biolante, Movie Monster Series Godzilla 1991, Bandai Shokugan 1989, Bandai Movie Monster Series Biolante, the Godzilla Collection Biolante, my previous review, the Hayatoy's Exquisite Basic GVK Atomic Blast figure, and Imperial Goji. Super 7.
Visually, this is definitely the superior Ultimates Godzilla figure. Technically, I do think it needs a little bit more improving, but it's not to a point where I wouldn't buy another one. I'd gladly take something a little bit more vibrant over something just glossy. And yeah, this guy still is a bit glossier, but the paint really does save him there. And that's pretty much going to wrap up my review of the Thirsty for Blood Super 7 Toho Ultimates figure. And when next we meet, which will probably be either on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be taking a look at quite possibly the heaviest contender for one of my very favorite figures of the year, the YMSF Type B Zilla, or as I'm going to call him, the Godzilla the Series Trendmasters figure toy variant color version. Long-winded. Peace.